For a little while now, I've been streaming myself looking up weird and unseen YouTube videos before. I was pretty skeptical to know if this would result in me finding anything, and thanks to the contributors like yourself, who gave me some pretty sweet suggestions, I was able to find some pretty odd and disturbing YouTube channels that I've never heard of before. And if anyone has already talked about this, well, you know, I don't really care. I found them first. Nah, whatever. So with that out of the way, let's explore some of the creepiest channels I was able to find thanks to all of you. I first want to start off with this absolutely crazy channel called World Around You. It's a channel run by a man named Jack, who has an incredibly strange hobby, which is taking up dead animals, stuffing them, and turning them into weird paperweight items, like a taxidermied squirrel turned into a ballerina, or sometimes he just makes them into more practical items like a rat turned into a pencil sharpener, the pencil sharpener of course being found on his butthole. But some of these get downright disturbing, like this unidentifiable animal with the Bratz doll face. Now, taxidermy in itself isn't really a bad or even a weird hobby, it's just the things that Jack does with the animals he obtains, wherever the hell he obtains them by the way, are turned into weird and kind of creepy stuff. Like these rat earrings. You can't really look at these and think to yourself that these would look good on a sane human being. I mean, seriously. Although I will admit that I do think that some of these were pretty funny, like the scrotum fairy lights, which I am not gonna show because I actually want to monetize something for once in my life. Now, while Wacko Jacko's hobby screams serial killer, and trust me, so does his personality, I don't really think the guy's capable of committing any sort of crimes like that. Maybe he's guilty of digging up dead animals from the local pet cemetery, but other than that, I'm pretty sure he's kinda sane. At least I'd like to believe so anyways. Listen, you either do this smiling because you think it's funny as hell, or because you're a Buffalo Bill killer, and I like to take the more sensible approach. The guy knows that this is nonsensical. I mean, one of his videos actually starts off with him saying putting the nonce in nonsensical.
The world around you. Putting the nonce into nonsensical.
Even though that makes no sense whatsoever. Or maybe I'm just an idiot and I'm not getting the joke. I'm probably an idiot. I don't know, I dropped out of middle school. Aside from taxidermy, Jack's actually a poet and a published author, so that's cool. And what's even cooler is that if you want any of his products, provided you have the stomach for it, you can actually check out his Etsy shop and buy any of them if you want. Though I would tread carefully because I can't really guarantee the quality of the item. Personally, I don't think they look that good at all. Ugh. Anyways, check him out, you know, if you want to, or if you're into that sort of stuff. Freak. Next up is a channel that goes by the name of Official Silk F. At first glance, it's hard to say what the channel is about, and to be honest, it's kind of hard to talk about the channel in the first place. It's a channel that sporadically uploads multiple times a week, and as of this recording, she uploaded about 8 videos in one day, and about 20 or so videos in the past week. She currently has 2,040 videos up on her channel, and no, before you ask, SilkF is not a bot. She's a real person. The titles of these videos are pretty random, and they vary widely on the topic. One day she's talking about weather, and another day she's talking about the anatomy of a human skull, and the next day she's just talking about UFOs. The videos themselves are also pretty bizarre as much as the titles are, ranging from screenshot photos of herself to slideshows to her doing black magic rituals. The least strange, but just as weird, would be her music. Yeah, I don't know. So let's start off with the basics and dig deeper as we go on. First off, this is Silk F. Who she is, well, that's an enigma. In her video, Insanity of Silk F, she acknowledges her weirdness and her crazy music. She states that this kind of music is the only kind of music that she would like, and that she loves making art. Despite her sporadic behavior, the only thing that she does admit having is hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. Though I'm not an expert on ADHD, nor would I know the behaviors of someone with severe ADHD, I don't really think this sort of sporadic behavior is dictated by that. But again, I don't really want to play down the effects of what severe ADHD can look like or can bring on, but I'm just saying I'm not really sure. I can't even state if what she's doing is caused by the effects of someone mentally ill, or if it's just her being weird for the sake of being weird. She's already acknowledged her weirdness and her craziness, and obviously she embraces it, so it might just be a case of her being an artist, someone who's expressing herself through her own YouTube channel. After all, most of these videos don't really require much editing, nor are they really that long, so the render time to make these are very minimal, maybe around 30 seconds to 5 minutes. That doesn't really necessarily make her channel any less creepy, however, but I wouldn't really feel comfortable calling someone weird just because they suffer from a potentially severe mental illness. When I see this channel and the kind of videos the creator makes, I see something that's made by either some weirdo artist like Jack from World Around You, or someone who is going through something. Especially when you look at some of these videos. It is really freaky, but what do you guys think? Speaking of people with a ton of uploads, Dark Luigi is a channel on YouTube that has currently over 31,000 videos uploaded as of the time of this recording, and don't be surprised if it's gone up a few hundred, as this channel uploads around 80 videos a day. This channel is essentially YouTube's wet dream, but the content itself isn't really the kind of quality they'd like to see on their site. But then again, I'd rather see this shit than this shit any day. Now, as to who is in control of this channel is currently unknown, but it's pretty obvious that these videos are manufactured by a bot than a living human being, unless the human is Goro from Mortal Kombat. It's pretty unknown who exactly these videos are made for, at least unknown to me anyways. I'm sure someone in the comments can tell me how this content is being generated by a bot and uploaded by a bot, but I'm not totally sure how this kind of technical stuff works. I'm assuming the B-roll used is captured by the bot from a library of different videos that have either the Smash Bros tag or Nintendo's tag. Also, the titles of each video seem to reference Smash and Nintendo in some way, but it's totally nonsensical, most likely because the bot is just pulling random words from a string of different Smash references and using them to form the titles. The text provided in each video is most likely taken from a Smash Brothers fanfiction, mainly the largest known Smash Brothers fanfiction ever made, the Subspace Emissaries World Conquest. A fanfiction made over 10 years ago, and it is currently considered the longest piece of fiction ever written, exceeding the length of even the Bible itself. Which Bible? I don't know, the Bible, I don't know, they're all the same, right? Now, while I've never read the fanfiction myself, I can tell by the way that the writing is structured and the constant inclusion of different Nintendo/video game characters in the random text that this is no doubt from a fanfiction. Whether it's from the Subspace Emissary World Conquest or not, well, who's really to say? It could be from several other fanfics just combined together and made for this video, I don't know. Even weirder than that, and I dare say creepier, is the auto-generated music. And I can tell it's auto-generated because, well, I mean, it sounds auto-generated. I doubt this music was made by a real human being. But then again, I've heard some ungodly music before made by some notably strange people.
On the first day of Christmas, the Pope my master sent to me, first week when under the tree. On the second day of Christmas, the Pope my master sent to me to let his fireworks and a sweet moon under a tree.
Yeah. The purpose of this channel, if there is one, will forever remain a mystery, probably, seeing as how this channel has been uploading since last year non-stop. I think it's safe to assume that we won't be seeing a stop to this madness anytime soon. Now, this next guy is actually far more tame than the previous entries, but he's still worth looking into just because Dross talked about him, and that guy's a piece of shit content thief, so I like taking any opportunities to jab at him anytime I can. So basically, this guy by the name of Mike has this channel called Mike National, and he's a self-proclaimed comedian and actor as seen from his older videos, where he's doing the same 3 or 4 impressions on camera. Mike doesn't seem like a totally crazy guy by any means, but he does seem to have a sort of obsession with a place called Dudley Town, which is a place that's rife with horror stories and rumors. It sort of reminds me of Onion Town, to be honest, but similar to Onion Town, most of what you hear about this place is very much made up. Most of this has to do with a supposed curse in the area, or ghosts, or an unnatural being living in the area, or some other superstition. Reality is, however, the place is just a simple ghost town brought about by the ignorance of a few idiots who thought they could make a prosperous land out of this pretty crappy land. This land can't really really grow crops at all due to the lack of water, lack of good soil, lack of proper terrain, and all sorts of harrowing challenges that provided too much for these settlers. It also didn't help that a nearby water source they had was potentially laced with lead, making the only available drinking water incredibly deadly. Lead could give people developmental issues, cause hallucinations, dementia, and yes, it can kill people. So after trying to make this place a suitable land to live on, the settlers just gave up and said, I'm outie 5000. Shout out to anybody who understands that reference. Most of the allegations of this place being haunted or cursed comes from the rumors that the Dudley family, who had an ancestor who was an English nobleman by the name of Edmund Dudley, was supposedly beheaded for treason, and his curse lived on throughout the entire lineage, though no real evidence can be found of this ever being the case. Others claim that there was a restless spirit that lives here, and it's believed to belong to that of a teenager who killed his mother sometime in the 70s. And this murder is pretty significant because of the fact that the area that Dudley Town resides in, that is the county, not many people actually hear about murders that much. It is a quiet town. So this was very shocking and could have definitely caused some rumors about haunted ghosts or cursed land. But that's the thing though, even though this guy did kill his mother, it never actually happened on Dudley Town, and it was significantly farther away from Dudley Town. Similarly, there are claims that a man who committed suicide is also haunting the grounds, but again, this never happened at Dudley Town, just the surrounding area. Now with the history lesson out of the way, we can get back to Mike National. Again, this man seems to be just a regular person who's fascinated by the lore of Dudley Town. After doing a few seemingly normal, if not boring tours with his friends, Mike National returns to Dudley Town by himself, and things get a little, well, disturbing. See, Mike wasn't really behaving like himself during this second tour. After being contacted by a certain commenter who informed him that she wanted to do a documentary on the place, Mike agreed to go back a few times. Although these videos show him being very agitated and incredibly restless.
Watch who's stalking who now. Who's stalking who now? Look at that. Do you see a person? Yeah, who's stalking who now? I got you now, motherfucker. I got you now, motherfucker. Look at this beautiful moss, by the way. Do you hear it? Look.
What's even crazier is that he has his shirt off almost the entire time he was at Dudley Town, and his conspiracy theories of ghosts and extraterrestrial beings were way more rampant than before.
Aliens, look at this. Perfect cube cut out of the stone. It's aliens.
Sure, he had mentioned the curse of Dudley Town before, but now he seemed to be legitimately possessed by the spirit of Dudley Town itself. What's even creepier was that he was apparently being followed by someone, or at least he believed he was.
Okay, ready? Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm crazy. Look at that. I'm by myself in Dudley. Look at that. Oh my God.
Though this could have just been a random pedestrian. This video shows his more manic side, and what makes it creepier is knowing that he was totally normal in the rest of his videos, even when he first visited the area. So why the sudden change in behavior? Well, this might be a stretch, but I'm assuming it has something to do with the babbling brook found in Dudley Town he calls the portal to hell. Remember when I said that the water was potentially laced with lead and other natural poisons? Well,
this is the brook, like I've already said, that people, they blame the deaths of the people on the water. This is the water. Oh my God. Oh, look at that. It's good water. Oh, it's good water. Good.
yeah, Mike doesn't seem to care at all. If it were, well, that might explain his strange aggressive behavior. It also doesn't help that he just ate a wild mushroom randomly. Nice. After these videos went up, Mike National seemed totally normal and hadn't really returned back to Dudley Town till after about a few months later. This is the last video he made about Dudley Town, and it was the last video he's ever made since 8 months ago. Although I will say that this man has an interesting channel if he were to talk about the ghost town itself and the rich history behind it, but his unhealthy obsession with this town is what makes it creepy, and the weirdness that ensues when he visited the town a second time. Nobody can really explain why he was like this or why he acted like this. Even he admitted that he was being a little crazy the last time he was there. I'm just really hoping that his life hadn't been swept away from the Dudley Town curse. Wait, did I just really say that? Didn't I just say that it was fake? The hell's wrong with me, man? What am I, chills or something? Before we get to number 1, my name is Gooseboos and I hope you're enjoying my narration. Are you curious about what I look like in real life? Well, that's too bad. Do you like my narrations? Then tap the like button and thank you for your support. It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to click that subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. Number 1. Alright, sorry. For real now. The last channel on this list is called ZJCFHGF, or Masky, as I'll be naming it from now on because I don't want to say that constantly. This channel is, well, it's a bit more disturbing than the last few. See, this channel was made by someone who seemingly sells their products. And what is their products that they sell? Well, masks. Creepy, hyper-realistic masks, all of which are fitted with female faces, particularly European and Japanese teenage faces. Who exactly Masky is, well, it's currently unknown, but this alone tells me that they're either someone who's obsessed with Japanese girls, aka a weeaboo, or a Japanese person who is obsessed with European faces. Though most of the masks we see are Japanese, so it could be an indicator that this is just someone who is familiar with the Japanese facial structure. Or they're just a huge weeb. I don't know. Now, to be honest, on the surface, this hobby does seem harmless. They're just selling realistic uncanny valley masks. There's nothing wrong with that. After all, that's not something totally new or creepy in itself, but the creepy factor comes in with the person themselves and how they advertise their masks. A lot of people in my Twitch chat were speculating that this is actually just a man fulfilling their own fetish, because if you were to watch these videos, well, some of them seem far too, let's say, amorous to be considered innocent. Again, we don't know much about the creator of these videos and the masks, and we can't even really tell what gender this person is, though many people, myself included, speculate that this is a man cross-dressing as a woman, wearing these very creepy and unsettling faces. Which, if that is the case, well, this hobby might be a bit more troubling than one might initially believe. There's nothing wrong with cross-dressing, but there is something potentially troubling with making up masks just so you can wear them and fulfill your own dreams. It's, I don't know. While we don't really know much about the creator themselves, they do have a Twitter account where they constantly post updates on their latest mask, mostly in Japanese, so it makes me believe that they're probably not a weeb and that they're just natively Japanese. And yes, I know that the bio says that they're a female mask maker, but this could either mean that they are a woman who makes masks, or just someone who makes masks of women's faces, and I'm sticking to the latter here. They also have a website whose design is, well, less than aesthetic. It's also a Japanese website, so this is only solidifying the idea that this is a Japanese person. The website itself has a black background and is filled with dozens of photos of their previous projects. It's here we find out that these faces are based off of real Japanese celebrities, even politicians. Now that in itself isn't really too shocking. We see that all the time, even with our own politicians. But really, look at these photos and tell me that this is not creepy. Like, seriously. Now, I don't really want to crap on anyone's hobby, but I think most people can agree that this isn't really the most innocent thing you can do with your spare time, especially considering that these masks are largely based off of someone else's faces. And of course, since we're going with that theory that these masks are made for a more intimate kind of interaction with people, then it is very creepy in that kind of pervy way. The secret behind who makes these masks and why will probably remain a mystery forever. Seriously though, this list was made possible thanks to viewers such as yourself, and I am incredibly grateful. If you want to tune into my creepy streams, or if you have a channel or video you want me to check out, then come and join me on twitch.tv/goose_boost to join me and some other fans on a creepy adventure. Thank you all so very much for watching. I'll see you all next time. I love you guys so much. Good night.